Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the Elite League playoffs. We're in the semifinals of the winners bracket. I am Demand2413, joined by Brad Masta. Brad, it is a high-octane match today. The top two players of this playoff facing off in potentially a finals preview.
Yeah, this is a matchup that I believe a lot of people were expecting to see. I know that, Remiix being the number 3 seed may not have been just, the status quo 1v2 that people were looking to see, but with the way Remiix has been playing, and of course with the way Jeff is playing, I don't think we're too surprised to see this matchup in winter semis.
In terms of quality of play, there is no doubt these have been the top two players of these playoffs. Jeff's work speaks for itself when it comes to 10 songs played, 10 songs won in this playoff. And then we look at Remiix having won 5-2 against Matref and then a stunning 5-0 against Jarvis to make it to this point. It is clear that both of these players have been putting in a lot of work, and they are ready for this playoff, and this is a matchup that should be one hell of a match to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the type of perennial matchup that the winner of this match could potentially go on and to win the entire thing. Both players have just been that dominant throughout this playoff run, so it would not surprise me that the winner of this does go on to potentially win the whole thing. So definitely eyes peeled to see how this one plays out.
Winner of today's best of 9 will secure a spot in our grand finals stream. They will secure that final spot and then potentially have to go through the grand finals if there is a bracket reset. But as well as that, there's also some cash on the line here. The winner of this will secure at least 3rd place in the tournament, which would secure them, I believe it, I'd have to double check our posts, but I believe it is $50 or 50 pounds in Europe money, whatever it is. So so that is on the line for these two players. But I would argue that there are grander awards that both are looking for, considering how they've performed so far, and we will be getting bans and picks very soon.
Yeah, it's Demand, if you want to go ahead and go right into that.
Yes, absolutely. We did have a chat with Jeff before today's stream, and he did let us know that he will, in fact, be banning Allegro Maestoso at 140, and Remiix bans Ghost. So a solo pick and a strum pick off of the board. We do still see Total Control, one of the least played songs, as well as Stutter Step. Those two have been very seldom played, but with two unbelievably talented strummers, as well as talented everywhere else, but specifically in strumming, they're very strong. Is a good chance we see at least one of those two.
Oh yeah, Total Destroy is something I am expecting to see in this match, and that one is going to be pivotal because both players are incredible at that, and we do get KKona solo medley to start it out.
Yes, and I will share the other piece of information. Jeff did let us know he was actually expecting this to be a ban, but Remiix changing things up a little with the Ghost ban, maybe not feeling as good and maybe having done some work on KKona solo medley, but the pick is a low KKona solo medley.
It is going to be interesting, Demand, to see if Jeff drops a song, because he has not dropped a single song at all in playoffs. So let's see if Remiix with this song here. Let's see if Remiix possibly could take it.
First drop will be from Remiix, and it is on a star power phrase, so immediately the first miss of the match on the phrase. Never easy, but there are a lot of activations throughout this song, so certainly not going to be the last phrase, but the overlap there, I've got to imagine that is not what you want, considering Jeff has been on point with pathing all tournament long.
Yeah, it looks like Remiix with that misphrase was trying to make up for it by activating later, but in doing so, did potentially mess up where you would want to act optimally.
So out of this isolated solo there that happens after the intro, it is Jeff with a nice lead that will continue to grow after that activation, and Remiix does activate at about the same point in terms of total star power remaining, so it will be a similar point spread from both after that difference finds its level there. So if you haven't watched either of these two players play before, they're going to make these songs look a lot easier than they actually are to execute, because both have, we keep mentioning how strong they've been. I mean, minuscule miscounts on these songs that are some of the hardest we have ever seen in a CSC tournament.
And so far, we have not seen more than one FC from any song throughout the entire playoffs, so we have the potential for one on the line here. I did want to mention that activation earlier. Remix did go a little bit later. They do activate here and do miss under that, but it was interesting that they went a little bit later than Jeff than you would expect, even though they had around the same amount of SP. Just thought that was interesting.
It was one small drop there for Remix, and one of the harder parts of that chart, Jeff remaining stout through that section, continues his torrid stretch through the first 1,300 notes of this one. We are at the halfway point, and it is close to 29,000 point lead, I want to say, but the star power obviously will change that potentially.
Yeah, it looks like right now we have a true lead, and what I mean by true lead is the SP phrases for both are the same, so we see a true score difference here. We do get a miss there from Remix. And right now, it is going to be interesting because Jeff has not dropped. Remix just trying to stay in it.
First miss there from Jeff, finally. In another really, really tricky part of the song. I believe that was the one. Oh, man, the descending chords, both of them nail it. And it is apparent that Jeff came ready to play.
Yet again, the caster curse is absolutely real. But more importantly, I believe that going right in, excuse me, we're not really seeing, I don't think nerve misses. I think it's just strictly, they're just missing. I don't think nerves are at this point in the match being that strong of a play here, especially what we're seeing from Jeff.
So will be another drop there. There will be some sustain points that Remix gets, so a little bit more valuable than just a normal singular miss, but there is a long way to go for Remix if the comeback effort wants to come to fruition here. Man, and Jeff continues to be rock solid. Another drop there from Remix. So it is Jeff early. Again, having mentioned feeling a level of comfortability on KKona solo medley versus Remix in particular. Man, another couple of tough sections. Jeff nails them again.
It does look like earlier there, Jeff did not overlap, whereas Remix did, extending that activation, whereas Jeff was a little bit smarter with their pathing there, so it ended up costing Remix, not just with the misses, but with the SP, additional points.
Just a ridiculous run there from Jeff to open things up. -4 +2 from Jeff's side breaks 1,000,000 points. I believe only the second person ever in match to do that.
In fact, Demand, that was the first 1 mil score we've seen on KKona Medley, and Jeff currently has the 1, 2, and 3 top scores on this in the match.
Which just goes to show that clearly that was the thought process, is I have been in a league of my own on this pick, so that will be my first pick, and it does go to the 1 seed Jeff. Again, best of 9, so it will take 5 song wins to win. This is the pick next. It is Total Destroy 115, the Strum Stamina pick. We have only seen it once. The two players that played it last time got 96% and 98% notes hit. But I have a feeling these two will be doing a bit better because both, as we mentioned, ridiculously strong strummers.
I'm not surprised to see this pick at all. Of the two players you want to see play it, it's these two. These are, in my opinion, the strongest strummers we've got in this tournament. So it's absolutely incredible that we're seeing these two play it in match right now.
I don't have an NPS count for chat, but I can tell you that both of these players will be standard strumming this. There will be no raking. The level of control required to have combos on this with raking, very, very difficult. So this is standard strumming from both of these players, and you can see it is incredibly quick. First activation, actually, looks like Jeff has taken the lead, and I'm hearing from broadcast, yes, it is 18.2 notes per second on these bursts of strum. So you can just tell how long they are holding that level of notes per second strumming, and it is scary stuff.
These two players are making this look like a cakewalk, but they're just so incredibly proficient at strumming. This, for most people, is just so incredibly difficult to play through, but they're just breezing right through it.
We are seeing different activations here, so Jef now will have an activation. No overlap there for remiix. It is currently remiix with about a 6,000 point lead, but Jef will activate here. Let's see what I mean, we're gonna be back and forth. The first drop is from Jef. No dropped phrase though, that is massively important. Remiix will though stay in the lead, still on FC at the halfway mark of this track.
It is really interesting because with the path deviation, we don't know who truly is in the lead. You would expect Remiix being on the FC, but we just don't know yet.
It would have been very interesting to see if they were both on FC where this ended up, and we're still on different paths. As Jef activates there, the response there from Remiix will get the overlap there. Again, we're still on different paths. Man, Remiix so locked in on this first pick of the match for him, and it's looking like a great pick right now. The stamina really comes into play now at the end of this chart. Can Remiix maintain? The activation there from Jef will take the lead. No, he won't. So Remiix with the points lead and the star power lead going into the ending. Great spot for Remiix here, and a dropped phrase and another drop from Jef, and Remiix is in the driver's seat going into the end.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see a closeout. Another miss there from Jef. Remiix is not only going to take this song, but in Jef's streak of song wins. Absolutely incredible performance.
What a performance by Remiix. Unbelievable stuff. FC's Total Destroy. That is the second FC of the entire Elite League playoffs, and it is on a song that has only been played twice.
I really don't have much words for just how incredible of a counter pick this was by Remiix. I mean, it was just the perfect pick. You not only even up the match, but you show it's like, hey, I'm here to play. I can potentially win this. Don't underestimate me.
Huge statement win from Remiix there to, as you said, make sure that everybody knows this is not going to be another 5-0 sweep for Jef. I am here to win, and I am going to come out swinging. So now it is Jef picking once again. This is the first time Jef has picked twice in a match.
Man, I'm not quite sure where Jef is going to be leaning here, because strumming clearly, at least stamina strumming, does lean probably, as we've just seen, a little bit in Remix's favor at this point in time. Do you maybe go technical? Do you maybe go stutter step? Or do you change it up completely? Do we go something a little bit more fret heavy? Something that maybe he's quite comfortable with? Do we maybe go sacraments? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure where we're going to go here.
There are actually a lot of tracks in this set list where only one of the two players have a score down. So maybe a little less opportunity to study up on former scores. The pick is in. It is Heatwave 135 by Jef. So it is a solo pick now for Jef. So as you were kind of alluding to, Brad, maybe now that Remiix has established the strumming, now we start leaning towards a little more fret-heavy picks to see if that is the avenue for success when it comes to this matchup.
Yeah, I think that at this point, just from what we've seen, Jef may want to lean a little heavier on maybe some of those, songs like this that are more fret-heavy, or maybe some of the hybrids that are a little bit more technical, a little bit more fret-heavy. We'll just have to see how the match plays out.
First drop and the first couple drops will be from Remiix, as Jef does drop there as well. So a couple of early drops from both players. Will that be a phrase miss? It does not look like it from Remiix. That is huge to keep that combo enough for the star power. Another drop there from Jef, and it is going to be within 2,000 points out of that first little section. Maybe both players starting to feel a little bit of the nerves of this match right now, considering that it's been so back and forth and so close.
You have to wonder, man, do you think that the mentality of losing a song that it so heavily favors Jef's skill set of strumming, do you think losing that could have affected him slightly mentally going into this song and forward?
It is tough to say. I do know that Jef has had a great run on this track before, and I don't believe there were that many misses early, so there could be a little bit of that playing into it, certainly. And I mean, Remiix in the lead once again. It's never comfortable if you're in that position where you are the favorite, but you see that 2 next to your score. It's always going to make you feel a little bit less at ease. But the drop there from Remiix will flip that one back to Jef.
Yeah, thankfully for Remix, it was not a detrimental miss, not under SP, not under a whole bunch of chords or anything of the sort. Simultaneous act from both getting through that. That's pretty awesome. Oh, Jeff does miss there, but again, that miss from Remix earlier doesn't seem to have been detrimental.
And the perfect solo from Remix, but the drop there outside of the solo swings it back to Jeff. Back and forth we go.
We are getting what they call the Tom and Jerry misses. One person misses, the other thinks they get an advantage, then they end up missing, and we've got a completely even match about halfway through the song.
It is what we were expecting from two players of this caliber meeting up. And as we get to the break, it is just a 2,000 point difference. In fact, it's about 1,300 point difference. But nonetheless, it is a single misses difference between the two.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. One miss, for those that don't know, not under SP, is worth about 3,000 points. So if either player misses, so if Jeff misses, it swings it back over. If Remix misses, it'll swing it further in Jeff's favor. A miss under SP would be even more detrimental for either player.
And here comes that activation for both, and there is that miss under SP. That is a star power phrase. First drop phrase of the match, and it is a huge one as Jeff maintains combo through the whole thing. Unbelievable solo there from Jeff. That was massive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you needed a moment right there to get back in it to feel strong mentally, that was it. Though he did miss a phrase. Remix does get it. Oh, my God.
So we are back and forth again. Jeff with the lead as of now, but Remix with the star power advantage. So it is not a true lead, assuming that Remix does not have any response drops in any phrases.
We're coming into the back half, the back quarter of the song. Not a ton of activations will remain, though this activation here for Remix looks like it's going to be fairly weak compared to the overlap that Jeff got when Remix missed their
Wow. So after all of that, it is Jeff with the star power advantage and the score lead. Now this ending is very missable. I do know that Jeff was having some problems getting the FC of this song because of this outro. Another miss there from Remix. So Jeff looking like they've got some runway here to work with in terms of miscount.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that 10K would be enough of a buffer, but if this outro is a struggle for both players, it might just be.
The activation from Remix a little bit later, big trill section with some moving anchor, and both rip it, but it is Jeff able to hold on after a back and forth affair. It is going to be 2-1 in favor of the 1 seed.
Wow, simply incredible play from both players. Remix did keep him close, but there at the end, Jeff had the pivotal activation and did not drop during that activation. That swung it ultimately in their favor to close it out, making it a 2-1 match in favor of Jeff.
Very strong miscounts from both. That is actually a 30,000 point less, or that's 30,000 points less than Jeff's first run of Heatwave. So kind of, as I was alluding to, struggled to get into a good rhythm early, but later on, clearly Jeff found his rhythm, which was massive in this match where the pendulum continues to swing. Each player has won their song pick so far. When will the first song steal be?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. I do think Remix right now, either of the strum picks remaining, Kickback or Stutter Step, would be the way to go. Oh, they're going a completely different direction. Okay, we're going Awakening.
We are going Awakening 110. This is also a song chock full of fast strumming, so I can see why the pick is in. I would maybe argue I would go Jeff in Stutter Step just because the technical level of it. And I know he's had some like 3 overstrum runs, but the pick is Awakening for Remix. Again, each player has won each of their song picks in this best of 9 match. This is a very important song for Remix early in this match.
Yeah, there's a lot of technical strumming in this song, so it's not too surprising to see Remix go this route. I really don't know quite who this favors. I think it does play strongly to both of their skill sets. Guess we'll see how it plays out.
Now, we do take a little bit of time to get into this song in terms of the difficulty ramping up, as this does not look quite like Heatwave and Total Destroy have looked, but if you haven't seen it, trust, it's about to get crazy. And these chord changes also, certainly not free, definitely something that if you're not paying attention can trip you up. Just like that phrase there, and both players nail it, so both players geared up and ready for the first activation, and there it is, right on time are both players. Big strumming now.
Yeah, leading up into this right here, you would think, oh, this is probably like an open playoff song. What's it doing here? But then you see you have technical chord changes along with very fast strumming. That stop and go is not easy for a lot of players, especially at this level. You need to be proficient. You need to be, and that's what we're seeing on display right now.
It is ridiculously close right now. Too close for me to tell, but it is still FC on both players' highways right now. And as I say it, there goes the first drop. It is from Remix, and it is a star power phrase once again.
Oh, in a match this close, this pivotal, I mean, that is a brutal XP phrase miss right there.
Yeah, one miss in a match like this feels like 5 for these players as Jeff continues to be locked in. Really tough star power phrase there that he does hit. So now we are even on star power, and Jeff with a really strong lead of about 34K, which against most players is not an insurmountable lead. The notes are so dense in these songs that comebacks are possible of that size, but against a player like Jeff, who has seemed to have found his footing after some early trip-ups in the last couple songs, man, it is tough.
Yeah, in order for Remix to have a chance to climb back into this song, Jeff has to miss. If Jeff doesn't miss, you have no ground to make up. Remix has been able to still keep it, within a margin of comeback, but if Jeff just does not drop a note, what is Remix to do?
Especially if it's not in a star power. So far, so good for RealSavageJef. They are into the solo here.
Jeff what would need to happen is Jeff would not only have to drop multiple phrases, but would have to miss a ton in whatever activation that they're able to get off.
There is a really, really big outro of this solo. First tricky part, these moving zigs here. Both players locked in. Here's that activation.
Oh my god.
And a single miss between the two. And that entire solo. Ridiculous stuff as Jeff continues to run on this FC. 2,400 and counting for Jeff right now.
This is just absolutely incredible. I don't want to say the word. I don't want to say it. But the clean play that we're seeing from Jeff right now is just absolutely incredible. We may see our first song steal of the match right here.
Yes, this was in fact Remix's second pick of the match. So a song steal this early would be a tough blow to Remix in the upset effort, as the 3 seed going against the 1 seed has already broken through and taken a song off of Jeff, but the next hill to climb is a match win. And with Jeff playing like this, it's going to be really tough, really clean by both, not getting that overlap.
I would probably say at this point there's not enough points left in the song unless Jeff were to just stop playing. I think Remix just needs to look ahead at the next pick and understand, as everybody watching, that it is a best of 9. So you have to reach 5 song wins to win the match at this stage in the tournament. So there's still plenty of room to play here for Remix, even with this one being a steal for Jeff.
Jeff, with the miss, not able to put a bow on that ridiculous attempt at an FC, but it is still going to be a very strong run. That is going to be a tournament PB. What a run. Jeff, 3-1 lead.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Dismissing it was an overstrum. It was an overstrum, so he still hit all the notes, just did not keep the combo. That aside, an incredible performance from Jeff. Clearly, the nerves from earlier from dropping Total Destroy don't seem to be affecting them right now, because they just took a song here from Remix to make it a 3-1 match.
And man, it's such a good run by Remix. 5 total notes missed, 2 of them in star power phrases, though, leading to that massive point difference between the 2 players, as Remix now must pick back-to-back, and the pick is in. It is Fallen Symphony from Remix.
This pick is wild to me. Let me tell you, the man in chat, why this is wild to me. Remix has an in-match score of 1.27 mil, 97%. Jeff has an in-match score of 1.34, 98%. Not even close between the two. So hopefully Remiix has put in some time and effort in this off-stream, off matches to try to even that up.
For anyone new to the chat here, this is the most difficult song in the selectable song pool of this tournament. This is the hybrid boss, so meant to be a step above the regular hybrid picks, and you will see why it is so.
If I may, this is not just the hardest song in this set list. This is very likely the hardest song that's ever been put into a CSC tournament, ever.
If I'm not mistaken, well, this is a shorter, oh man, and you see the difficult chording early on. Jeff off to a cracking start here.
We didn't get an activation there from Remiix. It looks like they're holding, so we again, don't get that true lead. We'll just have to see when we get that activation.
Big activation here from Remiix. A lot of chords under this activation, and hits those ascending trips or trills really well.
Unbelievable play there.
Yeah, that is ridiculous stuff from Remiix. Activation here from Jeff, though, is going to be massive. Let's see what the points difference is after this. Man, it is still very, very close, within 10K for sure. Maybe around 8K total difference. And there will be a lot of misses from both sides. So, yeah, about a 7K lead now for Jeff. Hitting this section is no joke. Those are such difficult transitions to do.
And
Single
really,
drop there from Remiix flips it. Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
That it is close is because Remiix dropped an SP phrase earlier during that previous activation.
Neither player able to fully get on combo on that really tricky chord zig section. So it remains very close. A drop there from Jeff. Man, the level of consistency from Remiix right now is crazy to stay and keep the pressure on Jeff, but Jeff now getting into a nice rhythm. It's back and forth. It's going to be who can hold that ×4 the longest.
And we did just see an SP miss from Remiix. Jeff getting off an activation and comboing through
huge.
that.
Absolutely massive activation there for Jeff. Once again, taking advantage of those star powers and knowing when to activate, being the slight differentiator between these two so far, and especially on this song.
This is just, it's mind-blowing what Jeff has been able to hit in this. However, Remiix, outside of really that one good section, I believe has been playing a little bit more consistent. They're just missing the SP phrases when they need it most.
You see the Remiix activation there to make sure they're not eating as much star power, and Jeff will activate in about the same spots. You can see why that activation comes in from Remiix. And after all of that, it is Jeff, 36,000 point lead as of now. But this song especially, with how long it is and how many notes there are, how many sections, certainly not over.
Oh, absolutely. You are 100% correct. There's a lot of really difficult stuff in the back end of this, where if Jeff just starts to drop the consistency we're seeing and Remiix holds, they're displaying some more of that consistency that they displayed earlier, it could swing back.
Both players on incredibly impressive note streaks right now. Can't even speak, the song is so crazy. Big drop here, really, really tough.
Similar play there from both, so not really making up any ground, though Remiix may have played a little bit better there. It looks like we're looking at about a less than 30K difference in score now.
Remiix did fight back pretty well there. Jeff did find his footing at the very last cycle of those patterns, so able to hold off any massive blows to that lead. And there will be one more slow section before this thing kicks into overdrive for the end.
Yeah, the chording that you're going to see here in this last real third is quite difficult for just about anybody in this tournament.
Both players getting that big chord section under the activation, as we do have that aforementioned slower section here. Both players getting one more chance to catch their breath. You've got to imagine they are both sweating bullets right now with the set they have played so far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're both definitely putting their all into this, and the pressure that's got to be on to try to clinch their spot in grand finals. Absolutely insane.
What a massive note streak there from Jeff, and that is huge.
And this right here, this section has been tripping people up every time we've seen this. Jeff just dropped there. Remix has not dropped just yet. If we see a few more misses from Jeff and Remix doesn't, we could see a comeback here.
Incredibly impressive consistency and technicality from both of these players right now. But Jeff, with the big lead after a couple big activations and just a little more consistency in some sections, some of the more note-dense ones have led to about a 40,000 point lead. Miss under star power there, though, leaving the window open. Big activation here. Drop there from Jeff again. Remix is going to need a couple more of those for this comeback effort to be possible.
We get some Tom and Jerry misses, and it does look like Jeff probably came out the better from that activation.
And after another tricky section, is Jeff still with about a 40,000 point lead. They have been pretty much neck and neck since that 40,000 point lead was initially founded.
Yeah, and it does look like, yeah, we do see the activation from Jeff. Remix is going to hold here. Perhaps they're holding for something a little bit more point dense. I'm not sure.
More point dense or maybe more comfortable. There is a miss under star power there. That is going to hurt. As we are approaching the end, there is not much left. And it is Jeff with this points lead and the star power lead. It is looking as though Jeff will walk away with this song 4-1 lead. What a run by Jeff. Remix giving it their all, not quite able to make the steal happen.
Yeah, I think when you look back at what we just saw, it was a story of a little bit more consistency on Jeff's part. And if we can get the phrase differences here, we see Remix dropped 3,
4, yeah.
And then Jeff got every phrase. That right there, that's the key. Jeff did not drop a single phrase. Was able to get all their activations off. And that's because the rest of the stats were so consistent across the board, that largely was
Remix missed less notes. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's as we've mentioned time and time again, SP is so crucial. It is so king, especially when you have players that are fairly evenly matched in skill, where that can make the difference. We've seen it time and time again. Now, Demand, where does Remix go? Does Remix have a path on the board to tiebreaker?
Well, unfortunately for Remix, they're not in full control anymore. This will be Remix's last pick, as if Remix were to win out and force the tiebreaker after this, it's all Jeff picks. So that is an undesirable position to be in for Remix, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. The pick is in. It is Kickback 140. So this is a song that Remix has the top 2 scores on. We have not seen Jeff play this song in match yet. So we will see if the prior match experience proves to be worthwhile for Remix, and if we can keep this thing going. This is match point, though, for Jeff.
I really think that of all the picks left on the board, this was Remix's best one to go with. As alluded to, the path to reach tiebreakers is extraordinarily difficult for Remix, because assuming Remix wins this song, they still have to win 2 Jeff picks to make it to tiebreak. A very, very difficult path ahead of them.
The fret timing and consistency, as well as the chording, so difficult in this track. It is a quick track as well, so this one will fly compared to the last song, Fallen Symphony, in terms of song length. Both players off to a flying start, though, hitting this introduction of the song. And as we get into this chorus, man, I mean, it is so tight with the bursts of strumming and the releases you have to do with these open notes to the chords. The first drop is from Remix. Does get the phrase, though.
Yeah, getting that phrase is absolutely crucial. Even though, you know, that miss kind of hurts. You lose 6K there because of all the chords. That one there, that is really unfortunate.
Jeff with that activation there. Remix did drop a phrase, so had to activate a little later. And again, Jeff just a little bit more consistent, and it's just barely but it is enough to make these 20, 30, 40,000 point leads early that is really giving some breathing room early and putting a lot of extra pressure on Remix as the song goes. And we are already 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, like you alluded to, it's a very quick song, and clearly the earlier song with Total Destroy going in Remix's favor did not shake Jeff up at all. They have been locked in ever since that point. I mean, we're currently seeing Jeff on an absolutely ridiculous run right now, and even though the lead is not that insane with the song being this short, that is a fairly decent-sized lead for this length of song.
I was about to say, this outro has been very tricky for players as well, so this would be the chance for Remix to come back into this one. Both do miss at the same spot early. Both players now able to get back on combo. And Jeff just refusing to blink, and Remix fighting until the end. But once again, the 1 seed. Unbelievably strong performance. It is Jeff. 5-1 victory against Remix in very impressive fashion. -1 versus -3.
Yeah, you got to give it to Remix for taking a song off of Jeff, because nobody else has been able to do it up to this point. But Jeff showing why they are the presumptive pick to win this tournament by so many people. Going against talents like Remix and those that Jeff has already played, and being able to just win in dominant fashion time and time again. I mean, yeah, kudos to Remix for taking a song off Jeff, but Jeff is just an absolute monster. Absolute monster.
That kickback run is the tournament PB amongst all players to close it out for Jeff. We will get to speak to both of these players shortly about that matchup. That semifinals matchup, and that confirms Jeff will at least be 3rd place. We'll mention that to the players as well, but unbelievably impressive performance by both. But Jeff, once again, proving to be unfazed by the pressure. We do have both players joining us now, as well as our referee. Shout out Mason Jar. But congratulations to Jeff on a huge win in this big-time matchup between you two. Both have been on a torrid stretch this playoff. And I'll, first of all, obviously, again, congrats, Jeff. It seemed like after the first bit of Heatwave, where things were a little jumpy, from that point on, it looked like you were feeling really comfortable. How are you feeling from your end?
Again, I know I always have to deal with those like first song jitters, just having to get through things. I remember very, very clearly how Total Destroy went. I remember when I went to just play it clean and just like not strum through the chords and just kind of just like let go and just play the chord. And I missed, and then I remember a shot going like kind of just down my body. I was like, okay, like I need to like focus up. I remember from that point onward, I kind of just like didn't make sure that I just never looked away, kept my focus, and just made sure I played my best.
You definitely did down the stretch. And Remix, after that first song pick of yours, Total Destroy, I imagine that's exactly how you wanted to go with the insane FC to put the pressure on Jeff. How were you feeling going into your Awakening pick, and kind of walk us through the thought process behind that pick after being the 4th song of the match?
Yeah, I was feeling pretty good after the Total Destroy FC, but it did get to me a bit. I don't know. It made me more nervous for some reason, FCing it, because it was just kind of cool. But
Yeah, it was badass.
The Awakening pick, I just went with that because it's usually been my most comfortable song, or like one of them. But today I just had so many phrase misses, and yeah, that's what ruined my runs today.
Yeah, it definitely was the story of the match, because the miscounts were so close, especially, and I want to go to Fallen Symphony. That was the prime example of really being the difference. And it's always tough mentally to get over those. But I guess with the phrase misses in mind, what were your thoughts on how you played today relative to kind of the progression of the tournament? Like, considering your previous matches, how do you feel about where you've gotten to now, and maybe looking ahead, where can you continue to improve?
I think my pathing is really the main thing I need to improve on, and really ironing out all the phrases so I don't miss so many. But honestly, I'm more than happy with where I've gotten to at this point, so I'm feeling pretty good anyway.
Absolutely should be, because you are still very much alive in that lower bracket. Jeff, you have secured third place at the very least, which means you will at least be getting 50 British pounds. You'll have to find somewhere to get that converted. But congrats nonetheless on securing a spot there and also in the grand final. So you will have a bit of waiting time between now and the grand final stream, which I'm sure that everybody is very much looking forward to seeing. But congrats on that. And yeah, Brad, what do you have?
Really, you pretty much covered the gambit. The only thing that I really have for both of you is the man, as you had alluded to, Jeff, you've got a while before your next match. But Remix, you also have a while before your next match. There are 4 matches that have to be played before Grands. So Remix, I'll start with you. How are you going to mentally and physically prepare for your matches going forward, knowing you've got a little bit before you have to play in your next match?
Yeah, I'll definitely put some more practice in and look at places where I missed today and try and make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's all I can do, really.
That's completely fair. Completely fair. And Jeff, same question to you.
So I want to say my sessions from I guess the last session forward have been very minimal. They've been very just, I guess, guess and check, or not really guess and check, but just cross my T's. I don't want to feel too much burnout. I feel like it could be getting to that point had I put too much more time into it. But I feel like I'm as best I'm going to get in practice. All it's going to take is just performing in match.
All right. Respectable.
There you go. I mean, it absolutely, you've seemed to have found a nice rhythm here. So gotta say, it's been incredibly impressive from both. Once again, cannot wait to see you both continue to advance forward. So best of luck to you going into the final stretch of these Elite League playoffs. It has been great theater for all of us here. So thank you very much for having the match on stream, and best of luck in your next ones.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What a match from these two. I want to take a moment to thank everybody for joining us on this stream today. We've got more matches coming up soon, none currently scheduled yet, but we will make sure to post those all in the Elite League Dibs on Stream channel as soon as they are known. Yeah, that's pretty much it for all days that there are no matches. We will continue to upload the match VODs of previous matches, so you have that to look forward to as well. But yeah, Brad, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty. It is closing in on the finals, and I can smell it from here. The anticipation keeps growing. It is going to be one heck of a finish to this season.
Yeah, we still have 7 of our 8 players remaining in the tournament. That's absolutely incredible with someone already confirmed to be in Grands. Still plenty of matches to play. Don't know how this is going to shake up, but I will say right now, it would not surprise me if we see a Jeff Remix Grand Finals rematch.
Well, for the players who are still in the VC here, I guess the pressure is on even more now.
I'll be looking forward to it for sure.
All right.
Yeah, it could be fun.
Absolutely. Want to thank everybody who stopped by today. A special shout out to Dark Eye who stopped by, some CSC tournament royalty. But yeah, all that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, we'll let you know when the next one's coming up, and we'll give you the ping when that stream goes live. Keep tuning in for Elite League playoffs. I've been Demand2413. Want to shout out Mason Jar as the referee. Chromatic, great job at broadcast today. Much appreciation. And Brad, glad to be with you back in the booth once again. And yeah, exciting stuff.
Yep, the power duo back at it again. I suspect it may not be the last time we see ourselves in the booth, potentially, for the remainder of the season.
It's up to the stars in the sky to see if they all align for that. But with that all being said, thank you all so much. See you again next time for some more Elite League playoff action.